I just want to say that coming from a person that has failed more than more than average, I've failed in so many ways. It's not even funny. I mean, if you think back and think about all the trials and tribulations that you've been through, and you ask yourself a question like, what do you think one of the biggest purposes of going through such big events and failing is for? And, now in my life where I've become, very developed in what I do, my skill sets, and I just keep pushing forward. I always am thankful for those times I failed, because each time I failed, it taught me how to get back up and how to just brush myself off. And to be honest, it got me to a point where I didn't even care if I failed. You know, I didn't even care who's looking, who's worried. You gotta do whatever it takes. And I remember the struggle. I just remember so hard as a kid, wanting more for myself. And when I became a technician, I realized the power and the tools that I had, being financially secure and using that to build myself. And there was many times when I failed and I just had to reapply. And I just reapplied. But I couldn't have done it with without my friends. My friends have really told me, my good friends have told me when I'm messing up. They told me when I'm doing wrong and what I need to do, and that's good friends. There was times when I was told things that I was like, wow, what kind of friend says that, but it's true. The things that you need to hear sometimes aren't going to be pretty. They're not going to be sugar coated, and that's the thing. Life is not fun all the time. It's not always about hitting your mark. To be honest, a lot of times I failed, and because I failed, I hit my mark. It's weird. It's a catch 22, but being focused and driven and being physically, mentally stable and healthy is very important. Sometimes we get involved in things that can alter that mental state, and you have to realize for yourself what is healthy. A healthy mindset, getting toxic people out of your life so you can flourish. It's all part of the plan. So be careful who you spend your time with. Pour into yourself, and that's what it takes. Don't be afraid to fail. I can't say that enough. You know, uh, and there's a lot of people out there that don't have enough cheerleaders in their court and feel overwhelmed, and it gets to a point to where you become so self-efficient with that. If you keep your head down, you keep focused, you keep the mindset of understanding where you are and what you need as a human being, as a person, then you can get the things that you need. If love is your language and you need to feel love and secure to feel like, you're on top of the world, then that's what you need as a human being. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to know what you need in life. You have to know what drives you, what makes you get up out of bed. The sooner you realize that, the sooner and better you are off in life, being happy. I think ultimately, to just have a life that you can be happy, you can wake up every day and say, I absolutely love going to my work, or I love going to, do what I do. And it's a blessing to say that, because there's a lot of people stuck in this rat race we call life. And there's more to life than money. I know a lot of money. I know that money drives many people on this planet. It used to drive me. But what really drives me is just making people inspired, inspiring others to be a better version of themselves. There's nothing more uplifting, because it actually improves my personality, improves what I do every day, because I instill those values in me. But also when I see other people change, I'm like, yeah, that's the right ticket. That's the track. You're on the right track. And it empowers me and it makes me feel really good. And so I love to see the changes that I am, I help people with. I have always, as a kid, had that power of influence. I didn't really know how powerful it was for me, but up until recent years, I've saved many lives. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, say, I was going to take my life, Ruben. And I cried with these people, total strangers. And I can't tell you, I've had that happen 10, 11 times. And that's touched me. That has brought me full circle to where I am at in my life. That's what I get up in the morning and I go work on my cars, and I use these cars to inspire people. I like to see young guys look at this car and they're like, wow, one day I'm going to own one. Those are the ones that I really, really, really love, because instead of saying, man, this is I'll never own this, I'll never, you can totally tell the mindset of young individuals and the capability and the power of influence. And a lot of people don't have that optimistic overview of life. It's sad. As a kid, man, you couldn't tell me no. You couldn't get me not to do work on a car and tell you about it and what's the coolest new part, because I read magazines and I was just really in the mix of things. So if you are one of those gear-headed, driven young individuals that can see their lives and careers building cars, message me. I am going to put together a great program that's going to help young guys develop their skill set. No schooling needed. So that would be my gift back to the world of just, I don't have kids. And to share my skill set with the younger generation so that they may prosper is one of the biggest things that I could ever do to give back. When I was young, I had a lot of old mentors. When I grew up in Hawaii, I worked for many different little shops, and I got to work next to some really seasoned technicians. And because of that, I was able to develop my skill set and learn tricks of the trade that I've never seen anyone else do. So I would love to share that and help build other guys' careers. And you could make a great living as a technician, especially in a shop. So, my shop has been mainly for my stuff, my hobbies. I have 2 Corvettes. You're going to see now my C5 come together. I'm so pumped on building my C5 FRC. It's going to have some really, really cool parts on it, just like my ZR1. But it's twin turbo, and it's got a stroker motor in it. So it's a little bit different. But thank you. If you haven't followed already, please hit the follow button. And you will see some things coming that are going to really, really be amazing. And I hope to get some younger guys involved in the shop. And I've been told maybe it's time to expand. And let's see where it goes. I'd like to make content and go racing. And if you own a race car too and you want to build and make content with me, that's where we're headed. So get at me. Let's set this world on fire together. But have a great day. I want you guys to make the most of your lives and understand that you only have one go around this sun. And once you realize that you have more days behind you than you have ahead of you, it's a different ballgame. Time's ticking. Let's do it.